If the United States continues to attack Iran, they will continue to shut down the Straits of Hormuz, which will mean we're only a few weeks out, maybe a month, before our oil reserves run out. So we are facing over the next week or two a race to who escalates first. The escalation options on Iran's part is they destroying major oil distribution assets from the United Arab Emirates, from Kuwait, from Saudi Arabia, knocking out the international oil distribution system. In other words, affecting like 40% of the globe's oil supplies in a situation where oil reserves are already desperately low. America can't defeat Iran conventionally, even with a ground invasion, unless we institute a draft. The continuing shutdown of the Strait of Hormuz is stopping the distribution of fertilizer, which will create famine around the globe. And if Israel is allowed to launch a nuclear missile in an act of aggression against a country, and there is no serious, equal-weighted response, then you will have the most dangerous precedent established in the nuclear era. And that is U.S. allies are allowed to use nuclear weapons in an act of aggression, and there's no consequence. What if the International Court of Justice rules that Israel is guilty of genocide in Gaza? The implications of that ruling is that those who enabled that genocide, and the United States is the principal enabler, we enabled and protected and financed this activity that Israel was engaged in. And if the court determines that activity is genocide, we are complicit. There's only 4 charges in the Genocide Convention, and one of them is complicity to genocide. If Donald Trump chooses to enforce the ruling of the court in that case, that Donald Trump will be given the license to arrest Joe Biden, to arrest Kamala Harris, to arrest key members of the Biden administration who participated in the complicity. If the United States suffers major casualties in Iran, in other words, if we actually commit thousands of our active duty military to engage in a naval and land battle in Iran, and we lose material casualties in that war, a war that the American public does not support, in my opinion, this is the kind of thing that can get Donald Trump impeached. The American people are so done with politicians who say all the right things to their people and then go and serve wealth. This is exactly what George W. Bush did. This is exactly what Barack Obama did. This is exactly what Bill Clinton did. This is exactly what Joe Biden did. And ultimately, this is what Donald Trump did too. The American people are done with politicians who say what we want to hear and then go and serve their masters, who are not us. The top 1% of wealth and income earners in the United States own 31% of American wealth, and the bottom 50 own 2.5%. That is going to correct, or we will have a revolution in a country that has 500 million guns. Yes, we're going to have serious redistribution in America, or this country is going to collapse. So we need a paradigm shifter, person who's willing to go right to that third rail and look straight in this camera and say to the American public, help is on the way. And this is where we'll use the intelligence agencies. We don't care what rock you put it under somewhere around the world. We're dragging that money out, or we're taking you and putting you underneath the prison with Maduro. We don't need vision. We need data, facts, clarity. Talk to us like adults. And I'm going to say this straight out. The prevailing narrative that the average American does not have the attention span to be talked to like an adult is a lie. I believe Tulsi Gabbard will be the first woman president of the United States in 2028. And I could not be happier.